Guys, NRL vid 090 back here with another video today. Today I'll be ranking rivalries in this vid. So before I start, I'd like to give a few shout outs. First one goes to Nick from Australia. Check out his channel, does really good videos based on NRL. And I'm sure you'll enjoy his content, so make sure to subscribe to him. Another one's Dean Sullivan, really knows everything about the NRL. His history on it's amazing. I suggest you check him out too. Another one's a Bundy chick. She's a mad Rooster supporter. It's just, you gotta watch her vids, they're quite good. And last but not least, who else is there? Entertain House. So I suggest you check him out. He's done really good NRL opening cards vids, and he's got a really good collection on him. So I suggest you check him out. But we're gonna rank all his rivalries. So the first one I really don't get at all. Cowboys and the Titans. How the hell's our rivalry? Look, is it even a rivalry? No, it's not. So I put it right at the bottom. But I guess it's not as bad as someone once saying that the Sharks and Titans are a rivalry, because that's just even worse. And someone thinks that Titans have a rival to everyone, but I'm not going to mention who the YouTuber is. But it's very clueless what he thinks though. Manly Parramatta. Well, look. They've always had dominant games. It's always been fiery whenever they play each other. There's always been fights. There's always been, all this hype around each game they play at. I'd say it's, to be honest, I think it's a fierce, actually, yeah, I think it's a fierce rivalry, Manly Parramatta. I'll put it right there, fierce, because Mayors hasn't been as big, but it's still a big rivalry going around the game. Rabbitohs and the Roosters is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, but I think the oldest is Dragons Rabbitohs, but this is one of the oldest, Roosters and the Rabbitohs. And look, every game we see them playing, there's still fights. It's still one of those really tough games. It's still a great game to watch. You love watching these two play every night. Friday night football, these two, it's amazing. I'll put it at the best, I think. Broncos and Titans. It's kind of like big brother versus little brother, and I don't think they're a rivalry. So I think they're just what's it called, cross town, or not cross town, but one of them. It's just one of those big brother versus little brother things. So I don't think it's a rivalry, but I'll put it in the category of, is it even a rivalry? Sharks and the Dragons. Yeah, I don't mind watching games between these two. They always seem to have some entertaining clashes. And I think I'll put them as a good. I'd say it's a good rivalry. I think it's just a good rivalry. It's a good game, great games to watch of those two playing. Roosters and Storm. Well, I never really thought of those two as a rival, because whenever they play, it's a tough game. It's always a tough game. Like, one team wins by 2 points, 4 maybe points, or 1 point. And that does not make these two a rival. It's just, they've always had very tough games, tight games, I'd say it's not even a rivalry. I don't think it's not. It's just, they always have tough games, It doesn't make it a rival. They're just two of the best teams of competition. And that still doesn't make them a rival. Manly and the Sharks. This is a big one. It's been going around for a while, and they've always had great clashes. Well, Manly are very dominant over the Sharks, especially at Brookvale Oval. Where I rank this rivalry, I'd say it's quite a fierce rivalry, I'd say. Still, like, both teams hate each other. I don't like Cronulla that much either, but still, it's always been that really good game. It's always been good clashes between the two, so I definitely say it's a fierce rivalry. Broncos and Cowboys. Well, this is developed as a rival ever since the 2015 Grand Final, and this is crosstown rivals, I think, not the Broncos Titans. This is crosstown rivalry. The Cowboys and the Broncos. These games are really good though, like all the time. Usually it goes to goal and point. These games, usually There's some really entertaining parts in each clash, and I love watching these games. Like usually on a Friday night, you enjoy them. I'd say it's a pretty fierce rivalry as well. I think Manly and Storm. I love watching these two play. I hate Melbourne, but they're a good team. I like. I don't think it's been really that big since 2013 or 2012, around those years. It's kind of got a little flat from 2014 to maybe 2017 or 18, around then. But the biggest clashes between the two since 2013 have been, well, the 2018 game where Manly beat Storm Melbourne 20 to 4, I think. Because, because in that game, Dylan Walker and Curtis Scott had a bit of a fight. And so was Frank Winterstein when he was at Manly. So, there's always hype around these games. It's such a tough match. It's just so good watching these two teams play, either in Manly or Melbourne, no matter where it is. It's such a great game to watch. I'd say it's a fierce rivalry as well. It's pretty fierce, I think. The Bulldogs and the Eels, look, the thing was, in 2018, I heard these two teams were rivals. I've known that there are rivals for a while, the Bulldogs and Eels, and to be honest, I didn't really think that there was much rivalry whenever they played, but that all changed in 2019, where I watched them play the Eels and Bulldogs in round 2, and it just looks like such a grudge match. It was just so tough. It's always very gritty, these games. They always have a bit of a niggle here and there. Always very low scoring too. And I've enjoyed these games. Like round 1 this year, that was a great one. Last year too at Bankwest, Josh Jackson, Nathan Brown had that fight. I enjoy these games. I'd say it's actually one of the best. Actually, I put it at historical, to be honest. I put it at historical. So I think it's around the best, but it's not one of the most best yet. But it's a really fantastic rivalry to watch. Eels and the Panthers. Well, this is like a Western Derby sort of thing, and I don't know they're really rivalries, but they sort of are because, I think there was something about the Bankwest Stadium, like whose main home ground is it. I know it's the Eels, but Panthers are also claiming it's their ground. I'm not sure about the whole story, but it seems a bit of a havoc around that. They've always had some good clashes as well as other rivals, and I don't know if I call them a rivalry, but I'd say somewhat they are. Look, I think they're a good rivalry. They're not like a serious rivalry at all, but they're a good rivalry when they play. It's a very high scoring game whenever they play. It's entertaining. So that's where I rank all my rivalries. So I've got the Roosters, Rabbitohs, the best. I've got historical, the Bulldogs and the Eels. I've got fierce rivalries, the Sea Eagles and the Eels, Sea Eagles and Sharks, the Broncos and Cowboys, and Sea Eagles Storm. For good rivalries, I've got the Dragons and Sharks, I've got the Panthers and Eels. And is it even a rivalry? Which is not. These are not rivalries. I've got the Cowboys and the Titans, Broncos and Titans, and Roosters and Storm. So that brings a wrap to my ranking my rivalries. Hope you enjoy. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next one. Peace.